You're not educated enough to handle this.
My boss, the department head, Emma Johnson, said this bluntly as we traveled overseas for a consultation. It was clear she was mocking me because I only finished high school. Even though I was supposed to be the main contact for the consultation, Emma's condescending attitude extended to the beautiful contact person from the client company. However, her shallow behavior only highlighted her own incompetence. Education, family background, and personality. She was utterly defeated in all aspects. Trying to mask her frustration, Emma stormed out of the consultation room. Left behind, the contact person, Olivia, asked me seriously.
I wonder who you really are.
It was a sign that Olivia knew about my past glory. From here, the situation developed into an event that would significantly impact both the company and my future. My name is Timothy Brown, and I'm 42 years old. I'm an employee at an apparel manufacturer called Elegance Enterprises. As the name suggests, our company is a glamorous firm with international clients. Our unique brand, Opulux, is popular among a wide range of age groups. There's a bit of a story as to why a rugged, athletic-looking guy like me ended up working for such a company. I changed my job to join this company. My unusual background caught the attention of Elegance Enterprise HR department, and they decided to hire me. Let me share a bit of my past. Since childhood, I wanted to inspire people through sports. This was largely due to my parents, who were both athletes. I deeply respected them. One day, however, my parents passed away in an accident. Left behind, I was still in my late teens, but decided to move overseas with a strong resolve. I aimed to become an athlete who could inspire people through sports, hoping to bring peace to my parents in heaven. Naively, I believed that if I made a name for myself overseas, my parents would be proud of me. As a kid, I naively thought that way. But of course, reality was not so kind. After a long period of struggling and many twists and turns, I finally made it to the professional stage, only to be let go shortly after due to my team's sale. My dream was shattered just like that. When I returned to the USA to tend to my parents' graves, someone who knew me suggested I join Elegance Enterprises. Sports and clothing are closely related. They hired me because they wanted to utilize the insights I had gained from being on the front lines of sports. This happened a few years ago. Since then, I've been struggling every day, surrounded by young and stylish colleagues. In the midst of this, I became involved in an incident that shook the company. It all started with an overseas business trip. I was to accompany the newly appointed female department head on another trip to Japan.
Hey, Timothy, hurry up and get the paperwork done. We don't have time.
Sitting arrogantly in a chair on the floor of John F. Kennedy International Airport, giving orders, was Emma Johnson. She became the new department head last year and is my boss. While it might not be unusual in the apparel industry, being promoted to department head at the age of 32 is quite impressive. Apparently, the president of Elegance Enterprises holds her in high regard. Emma is quite demanding. For this overseas business trip, I had to handle almost all the necessary paperwork. It was bad enough that I had to do the web check-in, but I was also tasked with renewing Emma's passport on her behalf. To top it off, Emma was the one who showed up late on this crucial departure day. Her saying, "We don't have time, so hurry up with the procedures," was quite unreasonable. Honestly, I'm amazed someone like her became a department head. If it's due to the president's favoritism, it sadly seems like a typical bad habit often seen in the USA. All the other employees are people I truly respect. After successfully completing the boarding procedures and getting on the plane, Emma continued her tirade.
Seriously, why do I have to be stuck with a sweaty guy like you? That idiot is on sick leave at a time like this. He has no backbone.
The idiot referred to my senior colleague. Since he had been on sick leave for some time, the task fell to me. Rumor had it that Emma was the cause of his absence. Emma, you shouldn't speak ill of someone's health.
You've got a lot of nerve for someone who barely went to college. Listen, unlike you, I've worked over there 3 times. I've traveled abroad countless times. I don't need to take any crap from a muscle-brained employee like you.
Let out a sigh. It's true that I only graduated high school in the USA. On the other hand, Emma graduated from a prestigious women's university. But calling me a muscle-brained employee, that's quite a biased view based on my appearance and education. If she keeps thinking this way, she's bound to face trouble over there someday.
And another thing, the kid in the seat in front has been noisy for a while now. I'm so tired of these uneducated lowlifes. Maybe I should smack them from behind.
Please stop it, Emma. I looked up at the ceiling, worried if everything would be okay. Later, when we arrived at the hotel, Emma's behavior didn't change. She dumped all the procedures on me and quickly retreated to her room. As I carried out the various tasks, I muttered, "Is this really part of my job?" Meanwhile, she changed into a glamorous dress and went out somewhere. Apparently, she had a dinner reservation at a fancy restaurant. Even after 1 hour, then 2, there was no word from her. She isn't answering her phone for the meeting. Oh, finally, a message. Let's see. Pick me up in 10 minutes. Oh, come on. I wrapped up the meeting preparations, hailed a taxi, and headed to the designated location. There, I saw Emma waving happily to a handsome local man. It seemed he was her dinner date. Once she got into the taxi, her expression turned cold.
That was awful. I was having such a good time with him, but the family next to us was so annoying. Can't places like that ban kids?
I keep telling you, that kind of talk isn't okay.
Well, nothing's more annoying than the grumblings of an old man who can't get a date. If you're so jealous, try becoming someone who gets treated like me. Not that you could.
Emma seemed determined to one-up me at every turn. Thankfully, our conversation was in English, so the bit about kids didn't reach the taxi driver. Back at the hotel, we reviewed the documents in the lounge. I had already learned that these were the only times I could talk business with Emma. She was drunk, but I didn't care. I needed her to get this done. I handed her the documents and asked for her input, hoping she would show the skills that earned her a promotion to department head at such a young age. But, you know,
What is this? It's all in Japanese. You should have translated the documents. You really lack initiative.
what are you talking about?
My Japanese is perfect for speaking. You need to check the documents. If there are any mistakes, I won't forgive you for embarrassing me. Yawn, sleepy.
With a huge yawn, Emma retreated to her room. I stood there in shock. Perfect Japanese? Really? I recalled the interaction before getting in the taxi. Emma had bulldozed her way through with vocabulary and pronunciation that seemed memorized straight out of a middle school textbook. Communication isn't just about vocabulary, but we were dealing with local professionals, not just chatting with shopkeepers on vacation. I can see why my predecessor collapsed from stress. I should warn her a bit more to prevent any more reckless actions. Along with an overview of the documents, I sent a message through the app saying, "Please take your work more seriously. The other party respects us, so we should approach them with a corresponding attitude." I've learned from living abroad that it's important to speak up when necessary. However, the response I got was being blocked from messages. A harsh reaction indeed. I really couldn't understand what Emma was thinking. With my relationship with my boss strained, the day of the business meeting arrived. Our client this time was Pasquette, a Japanese clothing manufacturer. For Elegance Enterprises, it was crucial to secure a contract to gain new distribution channels.
Have you reflected a bit, Timothy?
Emma's cold voice came from the back seat as I reviewed the documents in the taxi's front seat. I spoke up because I thought it was necessary, and I'll continue to do so.
You're so cocky. Well, whatever. This is the last time I'll have to put up with you. You should be grateful.
I sighed and returned to my review. Emma then spoke in a mocking tone.
You don't need those documents. I'll handle the negotiations. Just stay out of it.
Are you serious? I'm also responsible for this negotiation,
You're not educated enough to handle this.
she said, lifting her chin. I scratched my head, frowning. Soon, we arrived at Pasquet's headquarters. Emma, perfectly made up, strode confidently towards the building. I was left behind to pay the taxi fare. As I handed a tip to the driver and prepared to get out, the driver called out to me in Japanese.
Hey, you look familiar. Are you a celebrity or something?
No way. If I were famous, I wouldn't be scrambling around like this. I replied in accented Japanese, and the driver shrugged exaggeratedly. True enough, we both have trouble with women, don't we?
But seriously, you do look familiar.
The driver tilted his head in thought. I wished him a good day and hurried after Emma. Entering Pasquet's headquarters, we headed to the designated meeting room. As we entered a partitioned area, the person waiting stood up. At that moment, I heard Emma quietly click her tongue. I had a vague understanding of why Emma was in a bad mood. The representative from Pasquette was a beautiful woman around Emma's age.
Welcome to Pasquette. I'm Olivia Murphy, the chief representative. It's an honor to meet you.
Olivia extended her hand for a handshake. Both Emma and I were taken aback. Olivia spoke fluent English. Noticing our surprise, Olivia winked.
I'm a third-generation Japanese American. My grandfather was American. My family loves American culture, so I naturally mastered the language. Sometimes people say I'm more America than the Japanese. It's an honor.
I got it.
Here you go, Olivia Murphy. May I have your lovely business card too?
I'm Emma. Here you go.
Emma awkwardly handed over her business card, and Olivia accepted it with a smile. It became clear who was better at negotiation. I confidently shook Olivia's hand and then smoothly exchanged business cards. While casually chatting about today's attire and the company's impressions, I introduced myself. I'm Timothy Brown. It's a pleasure to meet you today.
Brown. Timothy?
Is something wrong?
Oh, sorry. Your name sounds familiar.
Olivia stared at my face intently. Honestly, having such a beautiful woman in front of me made it hard to focus on business. Strangely, I also felt like I had met Olivia before. I wouldn't forget meeting someone so stunning. Suddenly, Emma cleared her throat loudly.
So, Olivia, where did you attend college? Working at such a prestigious company, you must have graduated from a renowned university.
For some reason, Emma started asking about Olivia's academic background. She quickly mentioned her own prestigious women's university. It was obvious she was trying to assert herself. Olivia looked a bit puzzled, but then responded cheerfully.
I graduated from Princeton University. It was a wonderful place with many great encounters and learning experiences.
You graduated from Princeton?
Emma's eyes widened. It's widely known that this university has produced numerous Nobel laureates and is one of the world's top institutions. For a moment, Emma's face twisted with frustration. It was clear from her expression that she realized she couldn't compete in terms of academic background. I thought it was disrespectful to her alma mater. Yet, Emma persisted with more questions. With a forced smile, she asked, "What do your parents do for a living?" It seemed she was now trying to assert her superiority based on family background. Olivia answered smoothly.
My dad teaches at Princeton. My mom is an international lawyer, and my brother is a Major League Baseball player. They are all my pride. I strive every day not to lose to them.
A professor, an international lawyer, a major leaguer.
But I am who I am. You know the saying, bloom where you are planted. I always keep that in mind.
She smiled again, without a trace of pretense or ulterior motives. In terms of education, family background, and personality, Emma was completely outclassed. While Emma stood there with a forced smile, I proceeded with the negotiation with Olivia. The more I talked to her, the more I realized how different she was from Emma, who was full of arrogance and boasting. Olivia's knowledge and creativity were on a whole other level. I found myself actually enjoying the discussion. So, Olivia, you're considering launching new sportswear?
Yes, since my brother is in that field, I'm interested.
Major League uniforms, as long as it doesn't have a trolley design. I muttered, remembering the past. Olivia looked at me intently again. At that moment, Emma, who had been silent, suddenly spoke up.
I need to prepare for the party now. I'll head back to the hotel.
Wait, boss.
You handle the rest.
Emma left the room with that outrageous statement, as if fleeing. It's true, there was the party plan to deepen the relationship between the parties involved, but Emma, it's not even our company's party. I'm sorry, Olivia, for Emma's rudeness. Olivia?
My brother told me that the uniform with the trolley design was known only to a few people. It got canceled before it went public, so the general public wouldn't know.
Olivia asked seriously.
Timothy, who are you really? Timothy Brown. Could it be?
Olivia, what's your brother's name?
Jackson Murphy. He's at 36.
I see. That explains it. No wonder we recognized each other. I relaxed and confided in Olivia. I had once pitched in the majors under the name Tim. And during that time, a rookie teammate who became my close friend was Jackson Murphy. The uniform design was scrapped when the team was sold. Meeting Jackson's proud sister here of all places, it's a small world. By the way, Olivia, what are you doing?
I'm messaging my brother and friends. This party is going to be amazing.
Olivia's eyes sparkled like a girl's. I gave a wry smile. I'm not that great, really.
It's a bad habit of Japanese people to downplay themselves. We must thank God for this miracle.
I nodded in agreement with Olivia, who genuinely felt that way. After the successful negotiation with Olivia, we managed to finalize the contract smoothly. When I reported back to Emma, who had been holed up in the hotel, her response was, "Well, that's to be expected." It seemed her mind was entirely focused on the upcoming party. Seeing her tense expression, I told her, "The party isn't a competition."
Shut up. Just keep quiet. I can't afford to lose to that stuck-up woman. Watch and see. I'll be the star of the party.
Emma snarled, holding up an expensive-looking dress with a fierce expression. I almost blurted out, "No matter how much you dress up, you won't outshine Olivia." But I held back. Then came the day of the party. The event, held at Olivia's family home, turned out to be more than just a gathering of representatives. It was a lively celebration. Some attendees even brought their children. Olivia's house was a testament to her elite background. The spacious garden and grand house made it feel like a wedding reception. It's hard to believe this was just a family home party. Amidst all this, Emma, who was determined not to be outdone by Olivia, ended up making a pitiful spectacle of herself. Despite likely spending the most on her outfit, she was the least surrounded by people. Most of the men at the party gathered around Olivia. Seeing the stark contrast in popularity, Emma stood at the edge of the party, gnashing her teeth with a glass of wine in hand. She ignored the considerate invitations from the hosts and only approached young men, only to be rebuffed each time. Her supposedly perfect Japanese was overly formal and rigid, failing to engage the guests. Eventually, Emma was left scowling and simply indulging in food and drinks, radiating an aura of displeasure. As her colleague from the same company, I felt embarrassed. Enough of this, I'll just enjoy myself.
Timothy, come here, now.
I sighed at Emma's frantic call and walked over to her table. What is it, Emma?
Go and ruin this party. It's infuriating how that wretched woman is the center of attention.
I refuse. This party was arranged to foster good relations. If you can't stand it, feel free to return to the hotel alone.
What? You're so cocky for someone who's being ignored by everyone.
As Emma pointed and yelled at me, a tall man put his arm around my shoulder.
Long time no see, Timothy. Glad to see you're doing well. We must thank God for this reunion.
Hi, Jackson. It's great to see you too. I turned with a smile and hugged him back. Jackson Murphy. At 36, he was still a star player in the major leagues. With eyes resembling Olivia's, he was truly a handsome figure. Like his sister, Jackson had a fondness for Japan and spoke Japanese fluently. He wore his number 76 uniform. I tilted my head. Jackson, if I remember correctly, wasn't your number 77?
What are you talking about? This is Timothy's number, isn't it? On this special day, it's only fitting to wear a number that holds special meaning to me.
Jackson said with a serious expression. In any sport, the more prominent the player, the more they value respect for their peers. Jackson had always shown me great respect ever since our early days together. As Olivia had mentioned, downplaying myself excessively would be an insult to Jackson. At that moment, Emma, who had been observing our interaction, cautiously approached.
Well, who is this wonderful gentleman to Timothy?
My apologies.
Jackson said, straightening up and extending his hand for a handshake with Emma.
I'm Jackson Murphy. I play baseball. You're Emma, right? My sister Olivia has spoken highly of you.
Baseball. Oh, you're a baseball player? No wonder you have such a magnificent physique. You must have achieved great things, quite unlike Timothy here.
Emma seemed pleased with the attention and immediately started trying to flatter Jackson. Jackson smiled and replied,
No, that's not true.
What?
I have the utmost respect for him, for Timothy Brown. Without him, I would have quit baseball long ago.
Oh, Jackson, you're too kind. Such compliments are wasted on someone like Timothy.
Emma dismissed his words as mere flattery. Jackson's smile remained, but his eyes narrowed sharply. He emitted a piercing, heavy intimidation, much like the gaze he would give an opponent on the mound. To the unknowing Emma, the pressure was overwhelming. As she stood frozen, Jackson continued,
You seem unaware of just how amazing Timothy Brown truly is.
I had no idea.
He was a hero to me and our team at that time.
Jackson's voice intensified, speaking as an active major leaguer. I placed a hand on his shoulder. Jackson, that's enough.
No, it's not. I need to say this, for my pride.
I could sense his anger. Normally jovial and team-oriented, Jackson was genuinely furious with Emma.
Once, Timothy stood on the major league mound as Tim. He was 30 at the time, considered an old rookie.
Just once. That's not impressive at all.
He pitched a perfect game, not allowing a single runner. He did it against a team that was a top contender for the championship.
Emma averted her eyes, her expression saying, So what? Jackson's smile vanished.
Emma, let me make it clear for you. I am a pitcher like Timothy and the highest paid player on the team. Talking money might be easier for you to understand. Do you know how much I made last year?
Well, $100,000 or $200,000?
It's $50 million.
$50 million.
Emma was speechless at the astronomical figure. Well, for a star player in Major League Baseball, that's about right. Jackson placed his hand on my shoulder.
Even I haven't pitched a perfect game. Timothy did it as a rookie in his debut. If you ever visit the stadium, you'll see his name engraved there.
I had absolutely no idea.
And let me add, he is a lifelong friend, mentor, and benefactor to me. Timothy retired after only one game because he got injured protecting me from an accident.
Staring down at Emma, who was trembling from the imposing figure towering over her, Jackson continued. It's not a lie, she kept murmuring. Then Olivia stood beside me.
Timothy became a certified trainer and stayed with the team after retiring, Emma. You probably couldn't imagine it, but top players are not just athletic. They possess intelligence, skills, and character.
Although both Timothy and I were let go when the team was sold, he decided to return home to care for his family's grave. I wanted him to stay, but I understood his decision.
The Murphy siblings glared at Emma.
We prayed he would be happy back in Japan, but to see him treated with such disrespect.
Emma, do you realize that everyone here has been helped by Timothy in some way? Do you understand the consequences of belittling him in front of these people?
As Olivia spoke, the party attendees began to gather around me. Feeling targeted by everyone's eyes, Emma trembled even more violently. Humiliation, fear, and an overwhelming sense of disgrace. Her expression conveyed a turmoil of these mixed emotions. Unable to handle her emotions, she lashed out at me.
How dare you make me feel this way? Why do I have to endure this?
Emma,
I'll fire you as soon as we get back home.
Emma lunged at me, screaming. At that moment, a small boy, one of the party attendees, stepped between us. He spread his arms and shouted in English, "Don't speak badly about Timothy." That seemed to set Emma off. Before I realized it, she raised her hand.
You're always so annoying. I hate kids.
She struck the boy with all her strength, pushing him away. The atmosphere changed instantly. While I helped the boy up, Jackson and others quickly restrained Emma.
Someone called the police.
No, let go of me. Why is this happening to me? Police? What do you mean?
You crossed a line.
Jackson's serious anger stopped Emma's struggles. She looked around and realized that everyone was condemning her. She also understood that she was going to be arrested.
No, I didn't mean it.
Everyone here witnessed it. You're done.
Timothy, help me. I'm your boss.
Even now, she was being selfish. I delivered the final blow. I can't be with someone who doesn't respect children. Leave us, Emma.
No.
Emma's pathetic cries echoed. Eventually, she was taken away by the police, still in her soiled dress. It took some time after that. With the formal arrest and indictment of Emma Johnson, Elegance Enterprises faced a major upheaval. Additional investigations in the USA revealed that she had been using company funds for her clothing and travel expenses. Moreover, it was found that the president of Elegance Enterprises was deeply involved in these activities. In the apparel industry, where brand image is crucial, this scandal had a significant impact on the company's performance. Being arrested abroad for assaulting a child, coupled with the embezzlement scandal back home, was a huge blow. As a result, Elegance Enterprises soon went out of business. The president, burdened with enormous debts, withdrew to the countryside. Emma, the root of the incident, faced hefty compensation that she couldn't repay in her lifetime and was left in despair. Her family cut ties with her. Her much-boasted overseas travels became impossible as her passport was revoked and she was banned from entering other countries. But she brought it upon herself. I hope she learns to live within her means from now on. Meanwhile, the rest of us employees, valued for our experience and connections, successfully found new jobs. The person who had hired me at Elegance Enterprises after I returned from Japan started a new company and offered a helping hand to my colleagues and me. There are always places that need good talent. As for me, thanks to Olivia's efforts, I got a job at Pusquet. I now sell shirts worn by top athletes like Jackson. In exchange, I also took on the role of his advisor. It reminds me of the days when I was always looking ahead, and it doesn't feel bad at all. One day off, I returned to the USA with Jackson and Olivia. I visited my parents' graves.
Jackson, you don't have to be so dressed up for a great visit, even though the USA is strict about these things.
You guys are too casual. This is about showing respect.
That's just like Jackson. I smiled wryly as I clasped my hands in prayer before the grave. The two of them did the same. After a while, Jackson spoke again.
Besides, today is special. We have important news. We officially became family. At least let me greet them properly.
Yes, thank you, Jackson. I then hugged Olivia, who stood beside me. Mom and Dad, I married her.
Nice to meet you, Mr. and Mrs. Brown. I'm Olivia. I vow to help fulfill his wonderful dream of inspiring people through sports.
And I'm Jackson, Timothy, and Olivia's brother. No matter how many miles apart we are, the sky connects us all, right?
Despite his formal attire, Jackson's casual manner made me chuckle. I clasped my hands together again. We have a lively and happy family now. Please continue to watch over us.